Greetings, brothers and sisters. Hello and welcome back to Eva's House of Spirit. I'm Eva, and today I have a tutorial for you. I'm going to show you how to make Eclipsed Super Moon Salt, and what this would be good for would be for workings where you want to use the energy of tonight's moon. But in future works, you can use this salt in place of your regular, magical sea salt for certain workings, or you can incorporate this into baths, or you can use this for any manner basically of work where you want to use the energy of tonight's moon on days in the future where the moon will not be, an eclipsed super moon. But tonight would be a good time, obviously, to make this, because this salt, after it is made, what really makes it especially eclipsed supermoon salt is that, it should be, I think, charged under the light of, and the energies of this particular moon, which will imbue it further with the energies of this moon. So I'm going to show you what ingredients I have chosen. I'm going to put it together here with you. If for some reason you lack a certain ingredient, I'm going to kind of tell you why I chose each ingredient, so that you can maybe substitute an ingredient or two, if you don't have those, with something that kind of stands in and does like kind of the same thing. Because I do believe, hey, it's possible to substitute, use what you've got, but hopefully, some of you may be fortunate enough to have all these ingredients, and this may be something that you may want to do. If not, take this idea and run with it. Maybe you can come up with a different blend or what have you. I hope, if nothing else, I hope this video at least inspires you. Maybe this is something that will give you an idea where you can do something similar, whatever. So I'm going to show you my Eclipsed Supermoon Salt. Okay, so the first ingredient I want to put into this, and now I'm going to kind of come out of frame a little bit. You may just see like the lower half of my face, obviously, but that's because this is more important, where I'm going to be putting it all together. So the first ingredient I want to put into this supermoon salt is obviously sea salt. The reason for my choosing sea salt is that obviously the moon and the sea have a connection, and this is salt for use in workings, and a lot of people prefer sea salt, and I happen to have sea salt, so I'm going to go with sea salt for that, moon and water sort of connection. And I'm just going to pour out a whole bunch. I have a little pile here of sea salt. Okay. Now the next thing I want to add in, I have here some Alaya Hawaiian red salt. I'm going to add just a little bit because I'm not going to use my entire container for this. But the reason why I chose the red salt, I want to add like a salt in that kind of, alludes to that red moon as well. So, and it is sea salt too. You see, it's sea salt, but it's that Hawaiian red sea salt. So I'm going to add that in also as a part of my base. So I'm just going to pour on maybe about like a good spoon, a good sized spoon of red salt. And then the third salt that will be the base for this salt is going to be black salt. Whatever black salt you have. The black salt, the reason for it is because it represents the energy of the eclipse of the moon. So I'm going to add in a generous helping of black salt. And now the next thing we're going to do before we move on, you don't have to, you can wait till the end, but I prefer to. I'm going to mix all this up and then I'm going to continue on with the ingredients. I think I want to add in just a little more of the red salt, just a little bit more. Okay, add just a little more, just maybe another spoon. So I would say add like a tablespoon maybe. But really, these measurements, you can, you know, add more or less of each thing as you feel is appropriate. It's not like, oh my God, if you do it a little differently than I do, it's somehow wrong, because that's not the case. So mix in a little more red salt. So this is what the salt looks like. You can see, I hope, the red salt in there. You can see the black salt. You can see the white sea salt. This is our base, the black, red, and white. So then the next thing I want to add is I want to add in a pinch of mugwort. And the reason that I chose mugwort is that I feel it's a very psychic, sort of lunar associative herb. I think it's very connected with the yin energy, you know, the dark polarity, things like that. And I find it to be very powerful. So I'm going to add in a good sized pinch of mugwort. Then, moving right along, the next herb I would like to add in, I'd like to add in some lavender for healing, balance, harmony. I also find lavender to be lunar associative. So I do want to put some lavender into this mix. And again, I'm going to put in like a spoon of lavender. Good, generous spoon of lavender. Maybe it's a little more than a spoon. Maybe it's like maybe it's about a tablespoon, I'm going to guess. But, you know, again, measurements don't matter. You go with how much you feel is appropriate. The next herb I would like to add in, jasmine flowers. Jasmine does bring in a lot of good things. It is a good manifestation herb. I personally associate jasmine with the moon, with lunar energy, with yin energy. So I'm going to put in a good amount of jasmine flowers as well. And then the next thing we're going to add, I want to add some five-finger grass. Because five-finger grass, it brings things in, it helps to facilitate manifestations of a positive sort. Five-finger grass is good for attaining that which you seek. The little five-fingered hands that make up the leaves, they are sort of seen as grabbing what you are seeking. You know, they can help to like make things happen for you, kind of like how you would view hands being like important tools in life. You know, your hands do so much for you. Well, five-finger grass, it's kind of like your right hand, so to speak. It helps to acquire and make possible the things that you seek to acquire and make possible. So I'm going to add in maybe about a teaspoon of five-finger grass. It's not how much you put in, really, by the way. It's that it's there. You know, you don't need to feel like you need to use half of your container if you only have a little bit. Just use a little bit. It's all right. As long as it's there is what really matters. And now for the final herb, I would like to add some ginger. Because of the fiery nature of this moon, you know, it does have a lot of fiery energy. Astrologically, there's fire energy about this moon, you know, so I want to add maybe about roughly a good teaspoon of ginger. And then we're going to mix this all up before we continue. And I'm going to kind of crush up the jasmine flowers as well with my hand. Oh, this has a really like deep sort of smell because of the ginger and the lavender and like the jasmine. You know, it has like sort of a deep scent to it. Not a bad smell, just a real deep herbal smell. I like it. So, I mean, I hope what I'm saying, why I chose these ingredients, I hope this makes sense. You know, if it doesn't make sense to you, then go with what makes sense to you. Do something maybe alternate to what I'm doing that makes more sense to you. Now, if you use this in a bath, if you have a drain that tends to clog because of the herbs, I would suggest maybe putting this into an organza bag or a cheesecloth and let the salt dissolve through the cheesecloth, and the herbs can steep through the cheesecloth. But the herbs, the loose herbs, won't get like all up in your drain and whatever, if any should. I mean, they're pretty fine, so I don't think they should give you a problem. But if you have concerns in that regard, I would say if you use this for baths, I would say put it in a little bag just to be safe if that's something that is a concern. Okay, I think it's fairly incorporated for the most part. The final ingredient I would like to add a few drops of red food color, again for the fiery nature of the moon. And you know, it's also red as an empowering color. It's a powerful, empowering color, and I wanted to really incorporate that into this Eclipsed Super Moon Salt. I'm going to put on gloves for this though, because the food color will stain. So I'm going to put on gloves to mix in my red food color, because you do have to kind of incorporate the food color into the salt. And a little goes a long way, so maybe just a few drops. And you can add more if you feel that you need more. The final step to this salt that I would recommend is to charge this under the light and energy of the eclipsed supermoon, because that's what will really give it that final dimension of power, I feel. Okay, let's blend this really, really well. And there you have it, folks. Our pre-mixed Eclipsed Supermoon Salt. And, you know, I hope this little video here, I hope this has given you some inspiration, maybe something you want to do tonight. Maybe make like a supermoon salt, an eclipsed supermoon salt similar to this, or you could try doing this recipe if you have the ingredients that I mentioned or similar. And what I want to do later, I want to put this out like in a bowl, and I want to let the energies and light of the eclipsed supermoon like really absorb into this. And then I'm going to, you know, put this in a container and label it. And anytime I want to work with those energies of that super eclipsed moon, I can incorporate this particular salt into my spell workings or anything, you know, that I'm doing, whether it's a bath, whether it's a spell, what have you. So, with that, I'm going to wish you blessed be in Ashe. You have a wonderful day. I hope all the things you do during the eclipsed supermoon are freaking awesome. And until next time, until our next exchange, you stay awesome, and bye-bye for now.